Yeah. So under pages, you can find API automation test, rest assured. This is the link. You can find everything regarding API testing. So related. And so let's understand what is a client and server. So what is the presentation layer, business layer, database layer? You are, so who are all working, you might be aware of this structure. But let's understand what is a client and server. Yes. Server is there is a server. It's a connection point for several clients. So clients will be many for on a server. They will. So it's just a connection point. Basically, you will send the request from client, send the request to the server. Server will process that request and send back the response back. That's the so client and server relation. Okay, client is another software basically that connects to the server to perform the actions. So the client provide a user interface, and you have a user interface that allows to carry out the actions. And this is the any web application architecture, and this presentation layer is mainly used for UI testing purpose, right? GUI, you have a UI,
Yeah.
GUI. Yeah. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So application layer or business logic, business layer. So this is the main area where your APIs are tested here in the middle layer. This is the middle layer. Here your API testing will be done. You don't need a UI. You don't need a GUI. So you can test your APIs on this business logic layer. And that's the APIs means. And the API, what does an API means? So it's just a application programming interface. It will exchange the data between the two different systems, and they will communicate to independent systems easily with these APIs. So basically, so if you know our online system, so you go to any e-commerce websites, so you are doing a payment. So your payment you're doing through net banking, credit card, debit card, wallets, different, right? All those can be how it is happening, because bank software is different, but e-commerce website is different. How it is communicating? This is through APIs. Internally, the API will go and talk to the bank software by some authentication. So that's how you can know that is happening through APIs only. Otherwise, you cannot build bank software in your e-commerce websites. So that's all. So the API is making very simpler the process. So that's the API means. You can see examples for APIs is Google Maps API, Amazon Advertising API, Twitter API, YouTube API, etc. So these are all right. APIs means. So what is web services? So web services is another software system designed to support interoperability and machine-to-machine interaction over the network. Basically, the communication happens between two different systems over the network. So that's the main concept of web service. So it is a Java-based web application. You can talk to a .NET-based application on the Linux machine. The communication can be done through a set of XML, JSON messages or HTTP protocol over HTTP protocol. So that's the web service means. And so basically web services, we have a different types. We'll discuss all the different types of web services. The communication can be done through a set of XML or JSON messages or HTTP protocol. Either you can use XML or JSON so protocols, and also web services. So what is the API difference? Web service and API difference. So all web services are APIs. All web services are APIs. All APIs are not web services. All APIs are not web services. So web service uses only 3 styles of use, and API may use any style of communication. And web services are self-contained, and APIs are open source and can be used anywhere. Like even your Selenium methods also APIs. So they are open source. You don't need to pay anything. You can directly use them. So web service can be hosted on IaaS. It's a main, hosting service, IaaS, and also API can be hosted within the application also, or on the IaaS also. Web service might not perform all operations that API performs. API can perform all the tasks that web services can do that. So web services requires a SOAP protocol to receive and send data over the network. And so it is not a lightweight architecture. API is a lightweight architecture. So that's good for devices where limited bandwidth is there, like mobile devices. And web services needs network for its operations. API doesn't need any network to perform the operation. So that's the main difference. So this is one of the famous interview question. Please have some points in hand before going for interview. So what is API testing? So API testing, basically it performs the functional testing, performance testing, security testing on the business layer. See that? This is the business layer. In this area, the API testing performed. So on the GUI, you will perform the Selenium testing. So, and the database layer, so basically database layer, data will store there, right? So you can fetch the data if need, okay? From this APIs, it will go and fetch. That's all internally, the API will take care. So obviously you'll get the data. So what are the advantages of API testing? So there are a lot of advantages, okay? You can test the application without GUI, right? You don't need a UI to test the application. So you can test, this functionalities very early. So even without GUI is ready, you can test it. That's another advantage here. So this will help detect the minor issues which can become bigger during the GUI testing. That you can quicker and faster this one. That's another advantage, and also less time consuming than functional GUI testing, because if you know the structure and what input you need to provide, what parameters you need to give, if you know them, it's very quicker. So it takes very less time, and also the output you will get in a fraction of seconds. That's another advantage. So and also the API test automation requires very less code compared to UI. So you don't need much code here, and it's also it's faster test coverage than UI test cases. So that's why many people will prefer API testing. That's one of the easiest and faster one. Okay, and API testing data is exchanged using XML or JSON. So using XML file, XML data format or JSON format you can send and you can test them. So that's the advantages of any API testing. What is the difference between API testing and unit testing? So API testing is conducted by QA team and unit testing is performed by development team. So API testing is a black box testing. Unit testing is a white box testing. And API testing, so mainly assess the full functionality of the system. So basically, you will just know functionality you can test it. The maybe creation, update, read, delete, all these functionalities, CRUD operations, you can perform with APIs. So you don't need any of the right UI. So and unit testing mainly perform each unit of the code. So the developer's code, each function, the method what they have written, that they will test it. So that's the unit testing, what they will do. Okay? Whether you give input to that method, the proper output that method is giving or not, that's a unit by unit, they will test it. And so often run after the build is ready, the API testing can be done. So you don't have access to source code also, you don't need, right? So you just need a API if you know, that's good enough. And another thing, each of the code modules must be ensured to pass the unit test before being built by the developers. Basically, the developers, they can see the source code, right? Because it's their code only. So that's the source code accessibility will be there for the unit testers. So that's the main difference between API testing, unit testing. So what are the features of web services? So it is interoperability, reuse already developed functionalities, loosely coupled these web services, extensibility, and these are the main features of a web service. There are different types of web services. We have a SOAP, RESTful web services.
Sir, what is interoperability means?
So interoperability means, so you have a different systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So different systems with interacting with different systems.
Okay.
So easily it will go and talk to that system.
Okay, the communication between the systems.
Communication between the two different systems, more than one system, it's easy. That's a feature this web service is going to do.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So
sir.
reuse, reuse already developed functionality into new software. So because as I mentioned in the beginning, the example, bank software is a separate one that you can just use in your new application. You don't need to write entire bank software code here. Or something like a Google Maps APIs. Or something you want already existing in the market. You can just plug here in your code. So like you have seen, right? Just log in with Google something. So it's all just they are providing APIs. And so they will go and talk to that authentication service and you're liable to log in. So like that is any kind of service they can plug in our current applications. That's one thing.
Okay.
So loosely coupled means easily you can join with other modules, components. You can extend to n number of components. So that's another advantage. So those are some of the advantages of features of web service. So we have two types of web service, SOAP, RESTful web services, but we don't focus much on this area. We'll focus only on this area because most of the companies use this one only. Some companies are rarely still using SOAP. SOAP is very old and also not an open source tools. So you have to use only commercial tools. So that's why people won't prefer that. And also the reason will be there. I'll tell you the reasons. So what is a SOAP? SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. It is protocol to exchange information using request and response in XML format only. No other format this SOAP accepts. So you should be good in XML, then to analyze the data, to send the data in the XML format, right? So that's why SOAP is so that kind of XML format only it accepts. And so the transfer protocols are HTTP and SMTP, both they can use for transporting the data. And so different components we have: simple access object protocol, web services description language, WSDL, universal description, discover and integration. And what is WSDL? So in this, out of all these components, WSDL is a main component while developing the SOAP web services. So what is this WSDL? WSDL is just an XML file, so which is going to describe the technical details of how to implement a web service. So what URI will be there, what is the port, so which method name, and what are the arguments, data types. So all will be there in this WSDL file. And in this WSDL file, you have which port, what is the endpoint, input message format, output message format, security protocol that needs to be followed, which protocol the web service uses. So this is the how WSDL will be used. So what is meant by UD? So UD is once you have WSDL file, each service will be recorded, registered with this UD concept. So it will go and register that in the directory service, and you can use it later. That's the so UD for tracking purpose. It will be there. So these are all the components of SOAP web services. So these are the tools people are using: SOAP UI, UFT, JMeter. So these are the different tools. Even Ready API, another tool you can use for SOAP testing tools for testing purpose. So what are the RESTful web services? So RESTful web services are so this is the architectural style which was so brought in by Rayfield in his medical thesis in 2000, and it's just a representational state transfer which provides a communication between the client and server using HTTP request only. So what are the HTTP verb methods or request methods? We have 4. One is get, post, put, delete. So these are the 4, more than enough. If you know this, what is meant by each keyword, and that really helps you there. So what is a get? So get is to retrieve the data or to get the information. Post is to create the data, you will use a post. Put is for update. So put for update. So updating any data, already existing resource data you can update. That's for put, you will use put method. Delete, so the resource is available in the server, you can delete it, right? That's the so this HTTP verb methods: get, post, put, delete. So and also it transfers information from the client, the request parameters information, and also you can give the body, and then you'll get the output. So that's all in the different formats the REST accepts the data. So JSON format you can give, XML format you can give, any other formats also, text format also you can give, it will accept. That's one advantage. So we don't want all this, no, just understand that how the structure will be there. Let me give you the structure. Yeah, before going for structure, I'll just explain the difference between SOAP and REST. This is another major interview question in any interview you are attending. So SOAP is a XML based message protocol, and REST is architectural style protocol. SOAP uses WSDL to communicate between consumer and provider, and REST uses XML or JSON to send and receive data. So SOAP calls RPC method to invoke services, and REST calls services via URL path. And SOAP result is not human readable, and REST so result is readable as it is just a plain XML or JSON. Okay, and so SOAP transfers over HTTP and other protocols like SMTP and FTP also, and REST transfers only through HTTP or HTTPS protocols. SOAP JavaScript can call SOAP, no, and REST can call from JavaScript also, both. SOAP performs minimal as compared to REST, and performance wise, REST is much better than SOAP. So, and also it's a so REST is less CPU intensive, produces a linear code. So that's the how the differences between SOAP and REST. And what is the architecture of any endpoint URL? So you have a first the method. Okay, so the method. Then you have a URL. Okay, URL, and then you have a headers, request headers, and response headers. Sorry, request body. Then you will get the response. So these are the parameters we are going to give. Any API you are developing. So we are going to have so this first the verb method, then URL, then request headers, request body. That's it. Then you can send the button and you will get a response. So this is the client and server architecture. So REST endpoint URL plus API method plus parameter. So, but not necessarily all the cases this format, but at least minimum this format will be there. So it will start with HTTPS or HTTP. This is the endpoint URL. Then you have a method, API method. Then you have a parameters of that resource. So all the resources will store in this server. So that which resource you want, you can filter it out with this so query parameters with the that ID, and you can send back a response in the same any of these formats. That's the any service endpoint URL. So can you see here now clearly explaining HTTPS is the protocol, and this one cloudtechie.com is the request URL, and imgflowerslily.jpg. So this is the resource. This is a resource, and so these parts you should understand. See, till.com, that's a base URL, or you can call host name. So it will be like this, as I mentioned. HTTP verb methods. What are the HTTP verb methods? Get, post,
put, and delete.
So get, what it will do? It will go and retrieve the data.
The information.
The server. So post, what it will do? It will post the data into server. Because for this, you need to give an input. Then that data will post here. So put will update the already available receipt. If data is not there, then it will create. So delete will delete the data.
Delete the data.
So that's the main, these 4 methods, if you remember, that's good enough for us. In the interview, you can handle easily. And the response, you'll get back a response. Yes.
The response can be any of those types.
Any of these 5, yeah, any of these types, either JSON format or XML format or image format or HTML format, any format you can take it. So it will give you that response. So these are the interview questions. Somewhere I got it and I just put it here. The main thing is this one you need to understand. What is URI? What is URL? These are the important points we need to understand. So these terminologies people used to ask. So this I have mentioned here clearly. Just have some, read them before going for interview. So URI means, which stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. Basically, a sequence of characters that identifies a web resource by location, name, or both in the World Wide Web. That's the URI means. So it is a method basically. Sorry, I just clicked on that. So it is a method that allows for the uniform identification of any resource. Basically, there are 2 types of URIs. One is URNs, Unified Resource Names, URLs, Uniform Resource Locators. Uniform Resource Locators. So these are the URIs means. And this is the example for a URN, Uniform Resource Names. So it will be like this. So mail to this one, news, this one, URN. So it'll get like this.
What is
So
the
what is,
sorry, what is the difference between URI and URN? I mean URN and URL.
so it is going to be have some ID. This is going to have a name, right? That's a URLs. So any resource means it will be available in this server, right? All the resources.
Yeah.
So that has a ID, some ID. Every resource has a some unique identifier.
Okay.
Or some name. You will give some name for that resource. So you can identify either by ID or by name. Okay. So if you use ID, that's a identifier you're going to use, URI. So how you are identifying, maybe some path you will give, right? That path. Or how you can recognize, even by name also you can recognize. And uniform resource locators, URLs we call them. So that I'm going to show here in this diagram. So on the other hand, URL means uniform resource locator, a sequence of characters that identifies the network location of a resource. Okay, so which network that resource is available. So you can identify that resource with the URL concepts. So and also you can see URI is the bigger one, superset, and this one is a subset of URL is a subset. So URL is the subset. That means it's a part of URI. This one. So that's the URL means. So this is also another interview question. Most of the cases I have seen this, the difference between URI and URL. It's a resource identifier. It's a resource locator where that resource is available on the network. So superset of URL, and this is one of the type of URI.
URI.
So it is URI is often utilized in XML and tag library files such as JSTL, XSLT for identifying the resources and binaries, and URL often used to find web pages. Its primary purpose is to identify a resource and differentiate from other resources by location, name, or both. So the primary goal of URL is to get the address of that resource or location of that resource. So schema can be anything from protocol to designation and specification. And the schema is usually a protocol such as HTTPS, HTTP, FTP, and LDAP. So those are the one. Then what is a resource? This is also people asked in the interview. What is a resource? A resource is nothing but a physical or virtual component which is there in the server. So for example, you take a motorbike. So wheels, brakes, headlight, fuel, tank, and extra, all are resources of a motorbike. So that means anything you take, so the physical entity, a physical component of one entity. So that's a resource. You can take another example of Google. So now append /maps in last base URL, http google.com/maps. That's one resource. /maps is one resource. And /news. /news is the another resource. So like this, you can identify these resources. And already I have given, but let me give you one more time. So what is a get, put, delete, post? The get is for retrieving the data, and you can request n number of times that state of the the output doesn't change. So that's why this is called idempotent. So idempotent means how many times? Sorry. So how many times you send a request with a get call, the output doesn't change. That is called idempotent. So the result of a multiple successful request will not change the state of a resource after initial application. So it doesn't change the state. So it will be same state you have. So that is the main concept of this get call. So put means, so basically it is going to update the resource. So it is also important. One time only you do, how many times update? Same will update. It doesn't change, right? That's the multiple times you call put call, it will update that field only. That's why put also an idempotent method. So delete another, it removes the resource from the server. So these operations are also idempotent because they can get repeated without leading to different results. Because once you delete, so that it simply says, next time if you call delete method, it will say, I don't find it. So that's the delete. A post is for creating a new resource. It's not idempotent. Why it's not idempotent is every time, so you post, okay, you post it, and that will be created a new resource with a new ID. It will be every time new ID will generate. So that's the main. Here I have given some examples, real examples. You can go through this. Delete method, deleting any file, deleting photos from the account. All these are comes under delete method. Put method, updating address, name, renaming files. All this going to call put method. So get method is checking your news, accessing the google.com, searching anything. All this comes under a get call only. And a post method, so uploading a picture, posting a comment, sending a tweet, and all this is going to use post method. So that's all about HTTP work methods. And let's go and understand, so another one, HTTP options. This is also asked in one of the interviews, so that's why I included this also. We know now get to, post, put, delete. But we don't know HTTP options method, right? What is mean by this options method? So what it will do? So basically it is going to use to request the information about the communication options available for that particular target resource. So what information, so what communication options you have, that will suggest for us. So response may include so allowing headers, so or the HTTP methods, and these are HTTP options is another method. So this is the cross-origin sharing headers can be used for this, but I never use it in this this one in my entire career. So only we will use get to, post to, put to, delete. 4 is more than enough. Patch rarely I have used. There is one more patch. So patch is nothing but it is also going to perform the update. It will update the a particular field of that entire request body. You don't need to give entire structure. Which field you want to modify, you can give only that will update. That's a patch. But what is puts are, you can tell. Put also will update, but you have to give complete structure. Even though you are modifying only one part, but you have to give complete structure. That's the difference between put and patch. So, and also, the head method is identical to get, except that the server must not return a message body. So in the response, the server must not return a message body in the response. So understanding the REST URLs and methods, you can see post, get, put, delete. This one we should understand. See that /API inventory item. So create an inventory. Okay, this URL will create an inventory in the server. New inventory it will create. So you are getting get /API inventory item. So you're going to get all the items which are present in the server. Put method /API/inventory item and curly bracket ID. So basically what is going to do is so it is going to check, okay, going to check whether with this ID you can update this is the path parameters also we call this. So path parameter, these are all curly bracket inside whatever is there. This is in the request URL, you are writing a curly bracket inside ID, that is called path parameters. So another very important concept, query parameters and path parameters. This is the widely asked interview question. What is the difference between path parameters and query parameters? So, and delete, you can delete only this input related item. And API/inventory item, curly bracket ID. So you can post, so this ID, only that ID related data you can post it. But this description is wrong something. This is the post. Post means you're placing the item in the server. Post is another one. So adds a number of items to the stack. API/inventory item, the ID. And also you have a get call and get this particular ID related data. That's all the URLs and path parameters. So what is the difference between path parameters and query parameters? So path parameters and query parameters are both ways to pass the data in the URL in a web APIs. What is the main purpose of path parameters and query parameters? Both are used to pass the data to your request URL. Your request URL. For your request URL, you can pass the data. So there are different, so each parameters are different type. Let's see, path parameters, query parameters. So path parameters they are used to identify a specific resource within a collection of resources. So for example, in a RESTful API, you might use a path parameter to specify the unique identifier of a user. So like this. That's a path parameter. So what is the main purpose of this? So to identify a specific resource within the collection
Within
of
a
resources.
collection of resources.
So collection means a group of resources you have. In that one you want to pick. How you can pick? That resource
Using
is
path.
having ID, right? So you give
Yes.
the ID or a name, whatever it is. So you are giving ID. So users slash curly bracket inside ID. So that means, okay, in this total users, get only this ID details. That's the one you are doing. That's a path parameter where ID is the path parameter.
Path param.
So it's a unique to identification of the user. So unique to identification of the user. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what is query parameters? See, query parameters. The meaning itself is saying query. So they are mainly used to provide additional information and filter of a result. So for your collection. So for example, you have, so you want to return number of users. You want to limit it to 10. So this question mark after whatever is it, that's a query parameter. How you will specify query parameters? URL after question mark, limit or whatever the variable name. Here, this is the parameter name equal to value. So limit is a query parameter here. The limit is a query parameter
Query
here.
parameter.
So here is the examples. Slash users slash ID returns details of specific user with the given ID. Post ID comments returns comments for a specific post with the given ID. Query parameters means slash users question mark limit equal to 10. Slash post question mark category equal to news and sort equal to descending order. So what it will do? Returns a list of posts sorted in descending order by category news.
List.
So this is the how you can do query parameters with the question mark. Any questions?
No, sir.
Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so what are the common API testing types? Functional testing, load testing, stress testing, even you can do security testing, right? So these are all different types of tests. Mostly will perform functional, load, and security testing. So you can tell these three, okay? So you don't need to tell other things. So what must be checked while performing API testing? So you will check, first point you can tell status code validation. Okay, that's the first you can tell that. Second point, accuracy of data. So you give some input. Are you getting the proper data in the response or not? You have to check. That's a so accuracy of data. A schema validation. So whether the schema structure is proper or not, you need to check. And schema validation, you will check whether the schema is perfect or not. You have to check it. So data type validations, order and completeness. So the order means basically how to call different API calls. So one after the other or just before that, it doesn't work out, right? So you have to put it in the order to understand that. For example, API 1, API 2. So if you call API 2 in the first place, then API 1, it doesn't work out. Yes, that page is different and this page is different. So that's why you have to keep it. So, in the order, proper order. So authorization checks, this is another very crucial point. So you want to check the authorization, okay? You want to check the authorization, whether this user is a genuine user or whether he is authorized or not. How can you check that? So you have this authorization checks, it will generate the tokens. So, and it will generate the that bearer token worth 1, 2, and also you have a basic auth, X bearer token, X access token. So these are different types of tokens will be there. So those tokens you can perform. That's the what you can perform on the API testing. So what are the major challenges while performing API testing? So parameter selection, that's the biggest challenge. So parameter combination, which parameter you want to take, that's another very important thing. Call sequencing. So call sequencing is nothing but just now we discussed the which call after which call you want to call, that you must know that. And also output verification and validation. So output verification and validation. So that is also another thing you can use it. And providing input values to the endpoint, it's very difficult as UI is not available in the API testing time. If it is available, good. If it is not available, you have to take some struggles. And so what kind of bugs you can find out? Mostly functionality missing and duplicate functionality, and also failing error conditions and security bugs, performance issues, inconsistent error handling. So error might be varying every time. That's a problem. Multi-threading issues, improper errors. So those things you can find out in the API testing bugs. So where you can find all these APIs? So in the documentation. So there will be a technical documentation to see which are all APIs are available in this particular project. So they will maintain one document, and in that document, they will give you a detailed description how you need to. So the schema details, the API details, request URL details, what status code you need to get, everything you will be given there. So that's a documentation, API documents. But what are the API documentation types? We have a Swagger, very famous one. So Mirdot, Slate, Flat Doc, API Blueprint, REST Doc. So these are all the API documents, so which are used. Most of the cases is Swagger we are going to use. Okay. And okay, how will you perform this API testing? So you want a break? I will continue. So you need to install this Postman. Service mean will install this Postman. Okay. Just click on this. So let me give you, I don't know how many of you in the, so in our blog. If not there, just download this. Download that. Then you click on Windows 64-bit. Okay. So let's do that. Just give me 1 minute.
Oh.
So if you are facing any problem, let me know. Okay. I'm happy to help because so this is very important. Don't skip this. Everybody do the download. So because we are going to practice the APIs. If you don't have this Postman, you cannot practice. So that's why please make sure I have given the URL, download it and open that. So yeah. Thank you.
We people already have this, right, Ramesh? We can use the same.
Yeah, you have already who attended previously. So they might have, okay. You don't need to do, you can check, just search it, okay? Postman. Just search it.
Yeah, we are having it already.
Yeah, then open. So if you have, you don't need it. So who are not having, please download. So we are going to start immediately API testing practice. Next to few minutes.
Sir, for
Okay.
Mac,
Mac also same. You can have here. See that for Mac.
okay.
You have here.
Yeah, so should I, anything I can use, Intel or Apple?
Yeah, anything you can use.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, hello.
I think he took like a minute break.
I want to half.
So anyone need help?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, share your screen.
Um,
Sir, do you have to create free sign in?
Create an account. Create an account.
Okay.
So you can create with your Gmail also.
Okay.
okay, sir.
You can
My
sign in and
screen
you
is
will ask there. But
Sir, my screen is you are seeing my screen, sir.
I don't know who is sharing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm Shravani, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, is your screen only? Yeah, maybe you
Yeah,
can sign up with Google.
okay, sir. Sir, I can check this box. Hello,
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
Sir, which one should I give here, sir? What is
Anything,
your
what is your role? What is your main role you are doing?
Okay, sir.
What is your role, madam? You are so learning what course?
Testing, sir.
Then there is a quality engineer, right?
Yeah.
That's one you have to take. You are a developer, right? You are a QA tester. What is that? That is the one you have to select it.
Sir. Okay, okay. I have selected, sir.
Continue.
It's asking, bring people you want to collaborate with on Postman.
Not required. Continue without team. So that's fine. Continue without a team. There is an option below.
Below the finish.
Yeah,
we have
okay, sir. Yeah, okay, sister. Can I close it, sir?
Yeah. These are self-descriptive, madam. You have to read. So you should not ask these simple questions. Very self-descriptive. You have to read them.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So you have to open this and so completed. Everyone, we are going now practice purpose. So if you don't have this, please stop me. Without this, no use you are staying in the class also. If you practice along with me, then only you will get the things. So that's why make interactive session, practice more. That really helps you. If you're not practicing, so this is a very easy task. And if you're not doing that, and it's going to be a problem for you. So nobody will save you in the learning curve. Okay. So this is the Postman. Okay. This is the Postman. You have collections, environment variables. So you have a new import. Okay. You can create a new collection. So what is a collection? Collection is nothing but a group of requests, a collection of requests. So that will be there in the one collection name. You can add multiple requests. Each request is one endpoint URL. Each request is one endpoint URL. And so you have You can create a multiple request like this. It's all up to you. You can so create it. You can import. You can import this. If you have already collection in your local system, you can import that and you can add that to this workspace. That is the advantage, and also this portion is all your collection details will be shown to you. And the right hand side, so you have a methods first. So okay, your endpoint URL belongs to which method? Get, post, put, delete. Where you can see that? In the documentation. And that's what I told you, API documentation. You have different API documentation, Swagger and Dermat and API doc. So like that, you have so many API docs, but more famous one is a Swagger document. So what is the purpose of Swagger document? You have each endpoint description, which method you have to use, what is the structure, what headers you need to use, what request body you need to use, what is the output you will get. So these details will be given in the Swagger document. So the base for anything you are placing here, that's a Swagger document is the place. So where you can find all the details. Okay, and next one is see this. So once you give this URL, this is the endpoint URL. This is the endpoint URL. So this endpoint URL, you will give. You can give endpoint URL after below parameters. What parameters you want to give? Authorization. So headers and body, request body. So request body is used only for post and put call, not for get and delete. So which methods you will use? The request body
Post and
only for
Post and put.
Post and put.
post and put only. Post means what? You are
Creating
posting the data, right? You are creating the data in the server. If you want to create what data you are creating, you have to give input. That input you are going to give it here. That's a body, request body. And this second portion here, this is the response body. See the response body, then cookies, response headers, test results. See the type you can choose here. So JSON, XML, HTML, and you can receive any of this format. And giving also, you can give any of these formats. So we will request body also, you can send these formats. Response also, you can get to that format. Then this is the one, status codes. It's a very, very important status codes. These status codes, so we need to understand that. I'll explain the status codes one by one. So today we'll cover that also, status codes. And okay, so next we have a, let me show you that all this download. Everybody go to our blog and download, so go to our documentation, where you can find all the documentations. So this is one, API documentation. We are practicing Postman APIs. The Postman APIs we are practicing, and this Postman APIs, I'm going to get it here. So you open this in the new tab. Open this in the new tab. Okay. Open this in the new tab. So it will list out the different collections that they have provided. For example, see this jump to collections, environments, mocks, monitors, workspaces. So these are all the different APIs for our practice purpose. They are given the collection. Expand this bullet icon. You can see the individual request. Collection below individual request. Request 1 This is a post request. That is name they provided, create a collection. And the second request name, get a collection. Third one, delete a collection, update a collection. Update a collection name or description, create a fork, merge a fork, get all collections, get all collections. So that is the concept you can use it. So this is the very important, okay? So how to see that all this data? For example, I want to get all collections. So see the structure they are giving, get method, the endpoint URL, see what headers you need to give. So you need a authorization API key. You don't give a token key, this will return 401 unauthorized status code. And so for get call, right? Get call, you don't need any request header. So query parameters, if you want, you can pass query parameters also. So the even call command also, you can use call command. You can send the get call with the call command. So this is the how you can check your structure of API. What method, what is the structure, what headers you need to pass, what so request headers you need to pass here. So all this, it will be shown very clearly in the documentation. So let's go and understand. Before coming here, I want to explain the status codes. So and also JSON. So what is a JSON? JSON is a JavaScript documentation. It is a lightweight format for storing and transporting the data between client and server. So you have a curly brackets in between. So that is one JSON object. If you put in the square brackets, that's an array. So now this is the array name. So array first object is, this is the array first object. Array second object. So array third object. So that's the employees. So array. So this entire thing, you can put it in the name and value pair, and data is separated by commas. You see, so separated by comma each object. Curly braces hold objects. See, curly braces hold JSON object. So JSON object below you have fields. So the fields are, this is the one field, this is another field. So square brackets holds arrays. So these concepts, if you remember, that's good enough. See here, name value pair you can use, and this is the one JSON object. Arrays means this one. That's very important topic is status codes. So when you send a request to the server, whether server is processed or not, how do we know? So based on these status codes and what is the status, you can find out by the server. So there are different status code series, 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400 series, and 500 series. Out of all these 5 series, we should know 200 series, 400 series, 500 series. These are very important. So 200 series, but 100 series is not that much important. Don't worry about that. So 200 series is, that means your request is successfully processed in the server and you got the response back. That's a 200 series purpose. So that means the server, there is no issue, successfully processed your request. And another thing is, So 200 OK. What does it mean by 200 OK? Generally, get call will return this 200 OK. 200 OK means your server is processed successfully and you got the output. So there is no issues. That's the 200 OK means. 201 created. 201 created means what? So generally post method, right? This is a post method. Your request is posted successfully to the server and you got the output. That's a 201 created. Is saying created. Your data is created. Your resource is created in the server. That's a 201 created. This is a post call. You will use this. 202 accepted. The post call you're posting. So server accepted. That's you're just saying server accepted. 203 not that much important. 204 no content. Server is processed successfully, but no content to return to you. That's a meaning of 204. And 206 partial content. So there is a very partial content processed and returned to you, not complete. That's a 206 partial content. Okay, any questions? That's a 200 series.
Good, Ramesh.
Okay, let's move on. So 300 is not that much important. Okay, so if you want, I'll just give you a few. 301 moved permanent. The API previously developed, now it moved to a different location. That's a meaning. 300 multiple choice, 302 found. Sorry. And that's it. So 307 temporary redirect, 308 permanent redirect. So redirection purpose 300 series is used. And main important is 400 series, another one. 200 after, you can focus on the 400 series. Okay.
Oh.
So what is 400 bad request? It says very clearly bad request. That means you are sending bad input data or malformed URLs, incorrect JSON input or incorrect URLs. All such cases, the client will throw 400 bad request. That's a 400 bad request means. 401 unauthorized. 401 unauthorized means so you are not authorized. So your credentials are not correct. Or you didn't give any credentials, but you should give, but you didn't give that. And also token not generated. You have to give a token to recognize your request by the server, but you are not giving. So that's why then you will get a 401 unauthorized. So the user credentials are not given, token is not supplied, X-access token is not supplied, or OAuth token is not supplied, or basic auth token is not supplied. All these cases, you will get a 401 unauthorized. Next, 402 payment required. That's not important. 403 forbidden. This is the interview question between 401 and 403. 403 means you are authorized. Okay, you have given a correct token, correct username, passwords. Everything is correct, but you don't have permission to perform the operation on that resource. So what is the 403 forbidden means? You are authorized, but you don't have permission to perform the operation on that resource, or you cannot view that data because you don't have permission. You are restricted. So that's a forbidden means. 403 forbidden means. Are you clear on between 401 and 403?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's move on next. Next. What is the next one? 404. 404. It's a very important. It is very clear. 404 means not found. That means the resource is not there in the server, but you are requesting. Then client will throw 404 not found. 405 method not allowed. So your endpoint URL is designed for the get call or post call or some other, but you are calling a different method. Or media type, JSON you have to give, but you are giving a text media type. Such cases you will get a 405 method not allowed. So anything the media type or method, HTTP or method wrong you have given, then this 405 method not allowed will be displayed. And other than that, important 409 conflict. So you already created, but again you are trying to create, then you will get a 409 conflict. And that's enough. 400 series. Next to 500 series. Last one. All server-side errors. Server-side errors are called
500.
500 series. 500 internal server error. So your server is not able to process and your request. Then server will throw an error 500 internal server. That's a serious bug. So you can take it to development team. They have to look into that. So 501 not implemented. So this request is not implemented, but you are requesting the server to process. Then it will say this request itself not there in the server. How can I process? It will say not implemented. 502 bad gateway. Maybe some one of the services might be down. Then you are requesting that endpoint URL. Then it will throw 502 bad gateway. So 503 service unavailable. So if any service is down, maybe you might have seen ATM centers are right, service unavailable, something. So that means the service is down. So then you're trying to connect to that host or that server, and it will throw, or you're not only connecting, you're sending the request to that server. Already the server was down. So you're sending the request, then it will say the service is unavailable. 504 gateway timeout. So the request is processed, but taking more time to process. The request is taking more time to process. Then you will get a 504 gateway timeout. That's more than enough. So these are the very, very important 504, 503, 502, 500. So these 4 are enough for us. So 500 series. Let's go and trigger the APIs. Let's execute one by one. First, we'll create a collection, and then we'll add one by one request to the Postman. How to create a collection in the Postman? Any questions before jumping onto that?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the Postman. First, you should open our blog and get this URLs ready. Keep it ready. The API documentation, this is the one you need to open. I'm pinging again in the chat also, one more time. And also authorization key. Authorization key, we'll see that later. So, but you open our blog first. So make sure blog is open in one tab. API documentation is another tab. So this is the API documentation. And you can see jump to collections. You can find all the collections. So if you give all these Postman collections, Postman APIs, if you want to test, you should have an API token. You should give API token. API token, you have to give it. Okay. So let's go and create first, if you don't give the token, what will happen is you will get a 401 unauthorized status code that we need to validate, how to add test cases, everything I'll show you. Let's move on to the Postman. So how to create first collection. So click on this new or this plus icon, create a new collection. So anyone, you click on this, click this new and select here collection. Save your request in a collection for reuse and sharing. This is the collection creation. So click on this and give the name here, collection name. I'm giving a collection name first. Postman API demo. So April 17th, 2023. Okay. That's my collection name. So you can just, if you want, you can just, keep it there. And this is the one. Postman API collection. Where is that? April, here it is. So if you expand, see nothing is there inside this. This is the collection name. Please understand, somebody, even they are missing where is the collection name means they are not able to tell this. This 3 dots is very useful. View more options is the 3 dots. When how you'll get three dots, you mouse over on the collection name, then you'll get the 3 dots and with more options. Okay. So everybody created the collection.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you create, right? If you create already a collection, you need to add a request for this collection. How to add a request to the collection? So right click. You can do add request here. Otherwise, you can do add request here. But here first time only it will be there. So I'm going to add, click on add request. I'm adding a request to this collection. So give the name for this collection. Rename it. I'm giving a rename. 401 unauthorized. 01 unauthorized. So method is a get method. I can take any one of them, any request from this documentation. So method is a get method. Copy this endpoint URL, and you can just give it here. That's it. So save this. Here you have a top right side save. Send the send button above, save is there. Click on save. So now see, the method is a get method. The request name I have given my own user-friendly name. So I should get a 401 unauthorized when I send a request without any token or any username passwords. So that's why see that. Click on send button. So what you got here? This is the request. This is the request section, top one, and this one is response section. This is the response body. So response body, you have your status code and status code message, and also you have a request body. Response body here. This is all response body. So you have a response headers, you have a test results. But the test results, we don't have anything, right? So we didn't add any test cases. That's why test results are not there. So we'll add the test results. So these are the different header response headers and the response body. So what it is saying body? Error.
Authenticate.
So this.
Authentication.
So error is one JSON object.
Object.
And this curly bracket is another JSON object. Top curly bracket is one JSON object. That inside you have another JSON object. What are the fields in this error JSON object?
Name and message.
Name,
Message.
Message.
So these fields belongs to this error. So now I want to get this name value, or I want to get this message value. How can I get it? The path, you follow the path. But first let me, so add the test case for the status code. How can you add it? How can you validate this status code? You are expecting this 401. How can you add that? So go to test tab in the request section. So you have when you select the test tab, on the right hand side, you have all the predefined code snippets. So just go and select the status code is 200. Select that. So this is, you don't need to do anything. Just change the test name. The test name is, I'm going to change unauthorized request status code. Unauthorized request status code is, what is that?
401.
401. See that? So PM means, what is the PM means? Postman. Postman object, that one.
Okay.
Postman object reference, that one.
Mhm.
Postman object
Okay.
dot response.
Response dot.
So this is the Postman response. This entire
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
To have status 401.
One.
That's the first test case I have added.
Okay.
So one more test case, if you want to add, you can add one more test case below. So everything is available here, code snippets. You can see here. You want to check some response body contains a string. You want to check this string. Or you want to check this string is there or not. You can check it. So just select this. Response body contains string. Response body JSON value check. Response body is equal to string. Response headers, you can do content type header. Response time is less than 200 milliseconds. Status code successful. Post request status code. Status code phone name has a string. Convert XML body to a JSON object. So this is the different code snippets are already available, but don't keep the cursor in the same this function inside. And if you put the function inside, another function will add. So don't do that. Every function is different. Okay. pm.test is one function name. And that function name you are giving this a descriptive. If you want to add one more test case, this is the status code validation is one test case. If you want to add one more test case, add that. How to add? I want to validate this message is there. JSON value check. I will check this contains a string. Say that pm.test body matches string. I'm checking response body matches authentication string. Name value, or you can put authentication error string. Message validation. So I'm giving it my test case name, okay? And see pm.expect. This is the chai assertion. Chai assertion. JavaScript chai is the framework, okay? That framework, this pm.expect means you are expecting pm.response text should include whatever the text you are giving here. That means this entire response should contain whatever I'm giving, whatever you are giving here. Whatever you are giving here. Okay, so whatever you are giving here. So that is the second test case we added. Second test case we have added. Okay, click on send button. See, now two test cases I added. 1, 2. Two test cases we added. So send. Can you see here test results? This is passed. This is passed. Why it is passed in this test case? You got the status code 401. But how to validate this message? Same. So do the same here. Just call this pm.response.to be unauthorized. You can see that?
Yes.
That's it. See, we validated the status code. We validated the status message also, response message also. Any questions here? All you are done? All are done till this point?
Yes, Ramesh.
Only one voice is coming out of 18 people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you're done, we'll move on to the next. So test case also I have added. These are the test cases I have added. But how can you get this value? Let me finish that also, okay? Let's go and finish that also. So first you should get this entire JSON data, this response data into one variable. How to get that? So let's go and get that. So I'm going to get this. I'll just get this only. Okay? That's the where JSON data equal to PM dot response dot JSON. That's it. Okay. Now I can write here itself in this function itself. I can write. So I can just get the data. What is the, I need to get the data, right? Only getting the data. But what is the path? What is this path? So this entire thing is in this, that will represent this JSON data. Then what is the next JSON data? Next, what is the next field?
Error.
Error.
Error after, what is the next you want to get?
Message.
Message.
If you want, you are still not clear, just copy this response body, go to the Google, just search for JSON path finder. That will give you a nice path. You don't need to struggle. I'll say how complex your response body. You don't need to struggle. So use this. It will give you a nice, XPath. The pathfinder it will give. Just do that. Beautify. So now you come here. See that? I want message, right? See, this X is part of, in the X place, you replace with this JSON data. This JSON. Okay, so remaining you just copy as it is. That's a path. So I'm writing here. So console is for printing purpose. Anything you want to print, you will use console.log. So I can give message response message value, message field value, well, comma. So JSON data variable dot
Error dot.
JSON data object, basically JSON data object dot
Error.
whatever you copy.
Error dot message.
Two dots.
That's it. And put a semicolon there. See, you are getting, I'm printing that basically, I'm printing with the console dot. Where you can find, there is a, can you see here console on the left bottom?
Mhm.
Is it visible or you want me to highlight?
Visible.
Visible, sir.
This is the one. Okay, when you execute, your entire endpoint URL will be shown here. What is the request body you have given? What are the response body you got? Everything, status code, everything will be shown here. Okay. How to get that? Let's go and I'll show you that. See that I have so many, every request we executed. Clear this. So the next time you will be easily, you can see only which one you're executing. Just hit this. Can you see here? Get API, get postman.com collections. So expand this. See, even response message field value. You got this, right? Same value you got, whatever the response body is there, you got it here. So now you can see here, the status code is 401. And here also. See, request headers, what you have given. Response headers, what you got. And what is the response body? See, response body, you got it this way. So this is everything. If a developer asks, you can share this entire thing. And even, so you can copy paste this entire thing and share it with the development team. If you get any error, okay, they will ask, give me complete DOM. So the DOM is basically a document object model, what you are giving. The method name, URL, the request headers, what you have given. Any request body is there, request body, for get call request body won't be there. Then response headers, and what is the response body, you got it. So entire thing you share with the developers. They will look into that, any issues are there. Okay, is this clear? Console I have shown you how to look at the particular endpoint and how to elaborate each one. So any questions here?
So how to share this whole thing, Ramesh?
You just copy. Just
Okay.
copy.
Okay.
Copy one by one. Okay.
Okay.
So that will be easy. Or you have a copy option here. All logs will copy, but instead of that, if only one is there, you can copy, use this, and the entire thing will be copied to you.
Okay. We can clear it and like, we can copy whatever we
Yeah.
want. Okay.
Right, right. Okay. Any questions? So I have shown you how to add a test cases, how to add a request, but now I need to give token. Okay, so this all Postman accepts the token. If token is not given, it will throw error. So how to add one more request under this collection? Just select the first request,
3 dots.
3 dots you click, duplicate it. Duplicate it. So you will get another one. See, you will get everything again same. You don't need to again write everything, right? I'll just rename this. So get all collections. I'm getting all the collections. That's my, see, my endpoint URL name I have changed. Now I'm going to give headers. So what are the headers? I'll give accept. And value you give application JSON. That's a one header you need to provide. Second header you need to provide content type. You can see there content type. Application JSON. But I need to give now the token. The token they are very clearly saying here, you go to our here, X API key or to provide. So they're telling you need to generate the X API key. Right? You see, the Postman API enables you to programmatically access data stored in your Postman account. You must use a valid API key to send a request to the API endpoints. You can get your API key from Postman's integrations dashboard. You can go and give this from here. You can navigate to that. Right click, open in new app. So you can generate the key, your own key. Okay? You can generate your own key. Okay, so how to generate it? So go to this URL and generate the key. So are you ready? Are you in this page or no?
Yes, Ramesh.
Okay, click on generate API key. Give the name. Okay, generate API key. Make sure you copy this API key now. This is the only time you will see it unencrypted. Copy this. Copy to clipboard and go and share in the Postman. So here you have to give X-API-key. That's the one you have to give key name, and value is whatever you copy now. That's a value. Save it and send it now. So you can add the test cases. So test cases I need to add get all collections. Get all collections. Get all collections. Status code is 200,
200.
not 400, 200 steps code. And what is the 200 message?
Status okay.
Okay, so just remove this, add, you'll get automatically okay. That's it. So this one we don't know, just this won't be there, okay? This won't be there. So this you can remove if you want, okay? If you don't want, just remove it. So that's our get all collections, how to validate. So validation we added, endpoint we added, and headers, mainly headers. So save that after, so you have done your changes. Make sure you save this, click on send button. See that 200 okay, and you got collections, I have a lot of collections, that's why I got it. Okay, so this is an array, you can see this, it's an array. So JSON data inside array inside you have so many array objects, first object, second object. You can get whatever you want. You can get the collections, first collection, object ID, name, owner, whatever you want. You want to get it, all of them. So you can reuse this, right? You can get that. Control Z. Yeah. So response body, math, response body. Fetch the response body fields. I can write fetch response body collection array. So I want to get, see which array first, this is the first element, this is the second element. Which element array element values you want? I will get ID, name, owner. Okay, so which one you want? Which element, which array element values you want? First or second or third, which element values you want? So if you get a doubt how to grab this path, copy and paste it in the JSON path finder. So easy for you, and you don't need to struggle. So beautify and expand this. See, first array 0, collections of 0. Second array, collections of 1. So array third element, collections of 2. Array fourth element, collections of 3, like that. So which one you want?
Maybe the first one.
Yeah, take first one. So we'll get ID, we'll get name, we'll get owner, whatever you want. So just see ID. So what is the path? JSON data dot collections of 0 dot the field name, the first object ID value you are asking. So copy this first object value. So collections first ID field value. So JSON data dot like this, you can print all of them, you can get all of them. Okay, so whatever the values you want. See, so easy, right? That one. Any difficulty? What is that?
Name.
Name. So get the name. Just change to name. That's it. But exactly you have to give field name. Okay, instead of ID, you just give name. Next, what is the next value we want? You want owner?
Owner. Yeah.
So that's it. We don't need to stretch everything. Okay. So owner. Okay. That's it. You can clean up this and you can execute this. See, these values are printed. See, same values or not? You can compare. Array first value. This is the one. Second value. This is the one. Good. So that's the how you can. But how to add environment variables, I'll show you that. Okay, I'll show you that. How to add environment variables. Are we good?
Yes, Ramesh.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll practice rest of the things. Then we'll close manual testing tomorrow, this APIs. So tomorrow I'll show you how to set environment variables, how to consume that environment variable in this collections. And for one request output, see what this request output, if you need for other, how can you consume that? All that is a very interesting thing. It will come up. Okay. So please don't miss. That is a very